Hey, it's Steve. I got done putting a couple of things together here, gearbox for my water wheel. I call it the Captain Kirk gearbox. I haven't seen anybody, I've studied a few gearboxes here recently, and I haven't seen anybody do this. I got a pinion gear from a Ford starter rotating around a 164 tooth flywheel. I plan on using the leverage of the water wheel to rotate this thing. I was just going to make an axial flux alternator, right? I got one water wheel that would help push this one along, and the other water wheel would push that one, right? So one's pulling and one's pushing. Everything's equal but opposite when it comes to making electricity. I still have it mounted to a rototiller, so I'm getting a lot of feedback from the chain drive inside of it, and the tiller itself is 8-to-1. I haven't made a crankshaft yet, but that's where I'm headed. I was going to mount the coils on here and only have like 3 of them in here, maybe 4, and feel the flux without feeling the back torque on this alternator the whole time that it's running. I'd still have 3 phases in here, but I wouldn't feel it the whole time. You know, I could eliminate the ripple effect by having 2 of them. That's what I'm thinking anyways. Let me show you how this thing is, if you don't do anything yet, I'm still experimenting, but I got a piece of 1/2-inch PVC pipe here. Schedule 40. And if I put it in here and we test out a Archimedes here, and you look at the bending of that pipe, unloaded, I mean, that thing is just spinning around like crazy. I don't know if I'm going to pull it. Yeah, I got 2 choices, right? I can, let me get you positioned here correctly. I can go like this and use the leverage of my 9-foot water wheel like this, pushing that guy that way, or I can bring it around the center point and push it that way. I don't know if one's better than the other or not yet. I don't wear a lab coat, so I ain't too sure. This pulley's just sitting on here while I think about this stuff and figure out what's next to go. You know, the next road to go, or if I'm just wasting a bunch of my time. But I got to thinking about this after I put all these pieces of tape on here representing north and south magnetic fields. Let me grab a magnet. I ain't ready to play with these magnets yet. Hold on. That's one of the magnets. I got 100 of them. They're 1/2 inch thick, 1 inch wide, and 2 inches long. And I was going to put them in these slots I machined out with opposing faces, you know, to cut the magnetic field, the flux. As these coils remained in here, like this, and do something like this. And then maybe it's just accidental, but I noticed something else, and well, now I'm kind of stuck in thought, and nobody in my inner circle here at home, I can't get them interested enough to talk about this, and maybe I don't know what to do. So I'm going to share it with everybody on YouTube. I think this is a way to multiply the flux. So if you have a lower RPM input, you can get a higher output. You don't need you don't need, it's a way to double the RPMs magnetically, not physically, but magnetically. Let me see if I can explain this. It really was an accident. I never even looked, I never noticed what was going on. If I had put it together a little bit differently, I might not have seen it. So I think it's changed my mind. Let me collect a few thoughts here and see if I can explain it to you. Be back in a second. I bought some magnets and wire and everything, and I got my past failures laying over there on the ground. I don't know, about 10 years ago, and there seems to be a consensus, and I don't disagree with it, that you need 4 magnets to create a single sine wave of electricity if you're going to do it using magnets and copper coils. And in the axial flux design like this, that takes up, if you've got 12 magnets, whatever numbers you use, for every coil of wire you need 4 transitions of north to south. So it's taking 90 degrees of this particular design to get a single sine wave out of it. So, you know, there's all these technical things, gauges of wire, RPMs, all this stuff goes into account. But if you put another one on here that's the exact same in every instance, you get this north to south, this donut of flux that occurs right here. You get it right here. You get it at, let's say this is 0. Over here, 0 is 30 degrees. To get your first spike, you need 30 degrees. Over here, you get it right now. So as you rotate this 0 degrees, 30 degrees, now you get what took you 60 degrees if you lay the coils out horizontally like this. Not only that, but the flux, the equal but opposite reaction that occurs when you drive, dang it, Steve, when you drive magnets past this, there's a field of flux that is going around this copper that opposes the exact same flux field that occurs right here. It's going in this direction through the center of this. So it's in direct opposition of this field right here. So this torque that occurs all the way around the conventional axial flux alternator, you feel it every single degree of rotation. So I'm thinking if I centered it all right here, like this, at a bare minimum, I granted it takes a lot of magnets to do this. That's why I'm not going to do it this way. But if I did, I could at least reduce the amount of torque that is required to generate electricity. But I noticed this right here. If you look, if you put 2 of them here, now you have this north, man, my lighting is terrible. North to south, 30 degrees. Over here, now you have it north to south. You have that exact same donut of magnetic flux occurring right here that it took 30 degrees over here. This was all accidental, so I'm off digging another rabbit hole. I'm not too sure if I'm right or wrong. I know one thing. if you put two of them on there and you go traditional axial flux, even a single alternator, two inputs, you're better off than doing this stuff all by yourself, one input, one output. So, man, give this some thought. I don't know, I gotta rethink what's going on here in an effort to try and multiply the fields of flux without physically changing the RPMs of my input. I can't change the RPMs of my input. I can only change the RPMs of my flux. That's how I got to think about this. I'm thinking this is the rabbit hole it's created. Let me talk about it for a minute here, and if I'm wrong, help me help change the direction of my thought. I know there's some issues going on here, but let's say I stood those magnets up. Magnets are expensive, so let's say I stood them up. You know, just like that right there. Instead of laying them down flat, I stood them up like that. I put a sprocket on here. A double sprocket on here with an idler. And another sprocket over here. So that as this thing is spinning around, this is turning 180 degrees in the amount of time it takes this one to turn 30 degrees. Then I could put my coils in between here. One coil. I could hit it at the exact same time. You know, everything is pulling away. It's coming and going, coming and going. I could offset these two with another one of these. Be 120 degrees. Three phase. I can't see all the magnetic. I can't see the magnetic fields. But I'm having trouble here, so I'm stuck in a rut. If you've goofed around with this stuff in the past and you know what I'm thinking about, help me out. Give me an idea, a suggestion of, man, am I really digging the wrong rabbit hole? Because right now I'm kind of stuck. The best part about it, right, you see that magnet doesn't quite reach this top plate. If I shorten that spacer a little bit, I can squeeze that magnet in there. I'll need some metal behind it to direct the flux. You know, I gotta make that flux field go this way, in and out, instead of around the plate this way. But I want to mess around with the magnetic fields. I gotta do it in a way that you know, will create more frequency, right? Tesla said frequency. Anyways, just goofing around, hanging out in the shed on a cold, rainy day, thinking about this crazy nonsense. Alright, don't want my water wheels to end up being yard art, so if you got any ideas, let me know in the comments. I'm struggling what to do all by myself. Alright, you guys have a great day. I'm done messing around for the moment. I'm going to keep on thinking. It's going to take a long time if I'm by myself. Alright, you guys have them out.